Drones scanned the SS Central America deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, expecting debris. But what appeared instead was something far more intact. Gold, structure, and history frozen since 1857, raising a deeper question about how much of the past still exists. Untouched, waiting in silence below the surface. The moment the drone found the impossible. In a recent expedition in 2022, deep-sea drones were deployed into the Atlantic Ocean to locate the wreck of the SS Central America, a ship lost since 1857. The operation used advanced sonar systems to scan the ocean floor nearly 8,000 feet below the surface. This matters because at that depth, visibility is near zero, and discovery depends entirely on precise imaging technology. As the drone moved across the seabed, sonar began mapping what initially appeared to be scattered debris. Now this is where it becomes important. The scans did not show random fragments. Instead, they revealed organized clusters, dense formations of metal objects grouped in ways that suggested structure rather than chaos. That distinction is important. A ship destroyed by a hurricane would normally leave debris widely dispersed. What appeared here was different. The shapes looked concentrated, almost preserved, as if parts of the wreck had settled together instead of breaking apart completely. As the imaging continued, another layer of data emerged. Sensors began detecting unusual density readings consistent with precious metals. These signatures appeared repeatedly across the mapped area, forming pockets rather than isolated traces. That changes the structure. It suggests that the cargo, believed to be lost or scattered, may have remained largely intact beneath the ocean floor. In areas where the drone captured clearer visuals, objects resembling stacked forms and compact deposits became visible. These were not random fragments of hull or machinery. They carried the distinct appearance of concentrated material, aligning with historical records of gold shipments during the California Gold Rush. The result was not just the identification of a wreck site, but the discovery of a preserved field of material that had remained undisturbed for over a century. The disaster that should have erased everything. The sinking of the SS Central America occurred in 1857 during a powerful storm classified today as a Category 2 hurricane off the coast of the Carolinas. The ship was carrying passengers, crew, and a significant amount of gold transported from California to the eastern United States. This matters because the cargo was not limited to private wealth. It included large quantities of gold tied to banks and financial institutions, making the ship a critical link in the national economy. Now, this is where it becomes important. As the storm intensified, the ship lost power and began taking on water. Despite efforts to stabilize it, the vessel eventually sank, resulting in the loss of more than 400 lives. The human tragedy was immediate, but the financial impact extended far beyond the ocean. That distinction is important. The gold on board was part of a larger economic system, and its sudden disappearance disrupted that system. The loss directly contributed to the Panic of 1857, a financial crisis that spread rapidly across the United States. Banks failed, markets collapsed, and confidence in the economy weakened. The sinking of a single ship triggered consequences that affected the entire nation. Over the following decades, attempts to locate the wreck were unsuccessful. The depth, combined with limited technology, made recovery nearly impossible. For more than 130 years, experts believed the cargo had either been scattered beyond recovery or buried too deeply to retrieve. That belief shaped historical understanding of the event. The treasure was considered lost, the wreck reduced to fragments, and the story closed. What the modern scans revealed challenges that conclusion, showing that parts of the ship and its cargo may have remained preserved in ways no one expected. The depth where survival should be impossible. The wreck of the SS Central America rests nearly 2,200 meters below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean, a depth exceeding 7,200 feet, where conditions are far beyond normal human reach. This matters because pressure at that level rises to over 300 times what exists at sea level, enough to crush steel structures and destroy most equipment not specifically engineered for deep-sea exploration. The environment is not just deep, It is extreme in every measurable way. Now this is where it becomes important. At this depth, there is no sunlight, no natural visibility, and temperatures remain close to freezing. That distinction is important. It creates a setting where biological activity is limited and physical decay behaves differently than in shallow waters. The absence of light and oxygen slows certain processes while pressure accelerates others, producing conditions that are both destructive and preserving at the same time. The location shares similarities with discoveries made in regions like the Mariana Trench, where only specialized missions have succeeded. These environments are known for breaking conventional technology. Equipment fails, signals weaken, and recovery attempts often end before reaching the target. That changes the structure. It explains why, for over a century, this wreck remained beyond reach despite repeated efforts. In earlier expeditions, attempts to locate or recover material from such depths were limited by both design and endurance. Vessels could not maintain stability, and tools lacked the precision required to operate under such pressure. The site was not just hidden, it was effectively protected by the environment itself. The result is a location where survival, access, and recovery are all challenged simultaneously, making the preservation and discovery of anything at this depth highly unusual. The technology that finally reached it. Modern exploration changed that limitation with the introduction of advanced systems deployed in 2022, allowing researchers to reach depths near 8,000 feet in the Atlantic Ocean with precision. This matters because earlier missions relied on indirect data, while new technology enables direct observation and interaction. The shift from estimation to visibility marked a turning point in deep-sea exploration. Remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, were central to this process. These machines are equipped with high-definition cameras, reinforced structures, and robotic arms designed to function under extreme pressure. That distinction is important. It allows them to move across the seabed with stability while capturing detailed visual data in real time. Alongside this, side-scan sonar systems were used to reconstruct the wreck site in 3 dimensions. These systems map the ocean floor by sending sound waves and analyzing their return, creating accurate models of objects buried beneath sediment. That changes the structure. It transforms the seabed from an unknown space into a measurable environment where patterns and formations can be identified. Artificial intelligence added another layer of analysis. AI-assisted imaging processed the data collected by sonar and cameras, identifying density variations and shapes that differed from natural formations. This allowed researchers to detect areas of interest without relying solely on manual interpretation. The drones operated with precision, hovering just inches above the seabed, capturing details that had never been seen before. Movements were controlled from the surface, but execution occurred in complete darkness below. For the first time, exploration at this depth was not based on assumption. It was based on direct observation, allowing the wreck and its surroundings to be studied with clarity rather than speculation. The first visual contact with the Ship of Gold. The first clear visual confirmation of the SS Central America came during a deep-sea mission in 2022, when remotely operated cameras descended into the Atlantic Ocean and captured images of the wreck resting beneath layers of sediment. This matters because for over 150 years, the ship had only been identified through sonar and partial recovery attempts. Direct visual contact had remained limited and unclear. Now this is where it becomes important. The footage revealed wooden sections of the ship still intact, partially buried under fine silt. That distinction is important. The cold, oxygen-poor conditions at depths near 7,200 feet slowed decay, allowing organic materials like wood to survive far longer than expected. Instead of total destruction, the wreck appeared preserved in fragments, held in place by the surrounding environment. As the cameras moved closer, another detail began to appear. Small, circular shapes scattered across the seabed reflected the artificial light. These were not random debris. They were gold coins, spread across the ocean floor in clusters that resembled gravel. That changes the structure. It suggests that the cargo did not fully disperse during the sinking, but settled in concentrated areas. Further scans revealed bars and ingots resting among the wreckage, their surfaces catching light even after more than a century underwater. The arrangement of these objects followed patterns consistent with cargo storage, indicating that parts of the shipment remained where they originally fell. The overall scene did not resemble a destroyed wreck. It appeared preserved, with materials frozen in position since 1857, offering a rare glimpse into a moment that had remained untouched for generations. The gold that shouldn't still be there. Recovery missions linked to the SS Central America have documented thousands of gold coins, including the well-known double eagle pieces minted during the California gold rush in the 1850s. This matters because gold behaves differently from most materials underwater. Unlike iron or wood, it does not corrode, allowing it to remain unchanged even after extended exposure to extreme conditions. Now, this is where it becomes important. Many of the coins recovered from depths near 8,000 feet were found in near pristine condition, with details still clearly visible. That distinction is important. It shows that the environment preserved not only the structure of the wreck, but also the integrity of its cargo. The gold did not degrade, shift, or disappear as previously assumed. Clusters of coins were discovered still grouped together, suggesting they remained within original cargo formations. In some areas, piles appeared concentrated, as if containers had broken open during the sinking, releasing their contents in place rather than scattering them across the seabed. That changes the structure. It indicates that the distribution of gold was shaped by the final moments of the ship's descent, not by long-term ocean movement. Additional findings included bars and ingots positioned alongside these clusters, reinforcing the idea that large portions of the cargo remained intact. The arrangement of these materials matched historical records of how gold was transported during the 19th century. The overall pattern revealed through drone footage shows a site that functions less like a scattered wreck and more like a preserved storage field, where valuable material remains concentrated in its original context. The human tragedy beneath the treasure. The discovery of the SS Central America in the Atlantic Ocean revealed more than gold and cargo. It exposed the personal remains of a disaster that occurred in 1857. Among the wreckage, drones captured images of everyday objects, shoes, tools, and fragments of belongings that once belonged to passengers and crew. This matters because these items were not cargo. They were part of human lives, carried aboard during a journey that never reached its destination. Now, this is where it becomes important. These objects were not scattered randomly. They appeared positioned in ways that suggest sudden disruption, as if movement had been interrupted mid-action. That distinction is important. It reflects the final moments of those on board, where personal items were left exactly where they fell as the ship went down. The environment preserved these details, locking them in place beneath layers of sediment and pressure. The scale of loss becomes clearer when placed in context. More than 400 people were lost during the sinking, turning the wreck into more than a site of recovery. It became a resting place. The gold carried on board represented wealth, but the human cost represented something far more permanent. As exploration continued, the drone footage revealed a balance between discovery and remembrance. Each section of the wreck contained not only material value, but evidence of lives interrupted. That changes the structure. It shifts the focus from treasure to tragedy, showing that the site holds both history and loss in equal measure. The deeper the exploration moved, the more the wreck appeared not as a recovery site, but as a preserved record of a single moment in time, where human presence remains visible beneath the surface. The hidden sections no one expected. Advanced scans conducted in 2022 across the wreck of the SS Central America revealed features that extended beyond what was visible on the surface. Sonar mapping across the Atlantic Ocean detected sections of the ship buried beneath layers of sediment, indicating that parts of the structure remained sealed and untouched since 1857. This matters because earlier explorations focused only on exposed areas, leaving deeper sections unexamined. Now this is where it becomes important. The data showed compartments that appear to be intact beneath the seabed. That distinction is important. It suggests that portions of the ship's cargo may still be enclosed within these buried sections, protected from movement and disturbance over time. The collapse of the hull during sinking likely caused certain areas to fold inward, creating enclosed spaces beneath the visible wreck. Sonar readings also revealed anomalies, shapes and densities that do not match the surrounding debris field. These patterns indicate that additional layers exist below what has already been explored. That changes the structure. It shows that the visible wreck represents only a surface layer, while deeper sections remain hidden beneath sediment and pressure. In some areas, the scans suggest stacked formations or compact zones that could contain materials still undisturbed. These findings align with how cargo was stored during the 19th century, where gold and valuables were secured in specific compartments within the ship. The implication is clear. What has been observed so far may represent only a portion of the wreck. Beneath it, additional sections remain sealed, holding material that has not yet been reached or fully understood. The race to recover a billion-dollar secret. Recovery efforts tied to the SS Central America have already brought up more than $100 million in gold, recovered through multiple missions in the Atlantic Ocean over the past few decades. This matters because historical records from 1857 suggest the ship carried far more than what has been retrieved so far. A significant portion of that wealth still remains beneath the seabed, beyond immediate reach. Now, this is where it becomes important. The challenge is not just finding the gold, it is securing the rights to it. Legal battles have involved investors, insurers, and government authorities, each claiming ownership based on contracts or historical claims. That distinction is important. It means recovery is not only a technical operation, but also a legal one, where decisions in court can affect access as much as deep-sea technology. At the same time, the cost of each expedition remains extremely high. Missions operating at depths beyond 7,000 feet require specialized equipment, trained crews, and long operational timelines. Each dive can cost millions, and even minor errors can lead to equipment failure or loss of recovered material. That changes the structure. It slows recovery, making each attempt carefully planned rather than continuous. The ocean continues to hold what remains, not because it is hidden, but because reaching it safely and legally is still a controlled process. What this discovery really means. The rediscovery of the SS Central America shows that entire economic systems from the past can remain preserved beneath the ocean floor, unchanged since 1857. This matters because the ship carried not only personal wealth, but a portion of the financial structure of the United States during the Gold Rush era. Its loss once triggered instability, and its recovery reconnects modern exploration with that historical moment. Now this is where it becomes important. Advances in deep-sea technology, especially those used in 2022 missions, have changed what is possible. Remotely operated vehicles and sonar mapping allow researchers to access locations that were once unreachable. That distinction is important. It turns the ocean into a space where history can be observed directly, rather than guessed through records alone. This shift extends beyond a single wreck. Many ships from the 19th century remain undiscovered across the ocean floor, potentially holding cargo and artifacts that have never been studied. That changes the structure. It places exploration between archaeology and resource recovery, where each mission carries both historical and financial significance. The discovery does not mark an end. It shows that what has been found is only a portion of what exists, with more still resting in darkness, preserved and waiting beneath the surface. The drone revealed more than a wreck. It uncovered a moment frozen since 1857, deep in the Atlantic Ocean, where gold and history still remain, waiting far beyond reach.